How y'all doing? Y'all ready to go on this journey with me? Come on, boo. Let's go. Um, Abortion Part 1. The Art of Forgiving. Let's talk about it. It's funny to me in a not so funny way that it's 2021 and abortion is still like the big elephant in the room. It's the elephant in a lot of rooms because you don't hear a lot of people talking about their story with it or their journey with it or their lives on the other side of it. Well, honey, I'm about to tell you about mine. And before I do that, let me just say this is my story, okay? Read between the lines on that. This is my story. And for those of you, I will say this, for those of you who are pro-life, you're pro-life advocates and protesters and fighters of that. I get it. You are, passionate about your cause, not trying to take that away from you. But I would suggest that you see it as more than a cause. For those who join in that protest and all of that, and some people take to the news and they're screaming to the top of their lungs and they're shaking poster boards at people and calling people murderers. I would suggest that you see it as more than a cause, see it as more than a political debate, see it as more than even a moral debate, and see that there's a human being on the other side of that. Sometimes two humans, a couple, and they're making the toughest decision that they probably will ever make in this earth. Okay, so when you're saying that you're pro-life, I think that you also need to be pro the life of the person who is making that decision and not be verbally abusive. Okay, so just something to think about. Okay, I'm not telling you to change your views. I'm just saying, be kind. All right, honey, let's talk about my story with this. All right, y'all travel back in time with me a few years. I will be 41 uh in a few days here, and let's say this was the summer before my 20th birthday. I think so. I was about 19, honey, and I was in college, bright-eyed, bushy tail, ready to change the world, and madly in love with the biggest hoe in the city. Okay, yes, he was, honey. God rest his soul. But the boy know he was a hoe. If he was here right now, he probably would go ahead and admit that everybody in the town knew he was a hoe. I just was too stupid to apply the knowledge that I had that he was a hoe. Okay, so this was my first real boyfriend, I guess. First boyfriend in college, outside of the house, outside of curfew and all that. The first boy I ever had sex with. So during our raggedy shambles of a relationship for however long it went on. And in his defense, we were both very young. He was 4 years older than I was. So in this off and on 3-4 year relationship that we had, that's another video for another day, I end up pregnant by him, and he did not take the stand-up guy route at all. He took the whatever you want to do, it's your decision. I really wasn't trying to have no more kids right now because he already had a son. But whatever you decide, it's totally up to you. Funny how they changed that story, and it's all up to you when you get pregnant. But then it wasn't just up to me when we was having sex. I mean, you had a whole lot of input then. You was very detailed about what you wanted. So it's funny how that changed. Anyway, honey, any of my Kojic friends can attest to this. You just did not go back, especially back that time, to no Kojic household. This Church of God in Christ, for those that don't know. You don't go back to no Kojic household. You don't go back to no Kojic church and say that you are pregnant unmarried. Okay, things have changed. The Kojic has changed. People are kinder and wiser and all of that. So I have no issues with my upbringing. I'm still Kojic now. Okay, I'm proud of that. Well, let's say I'm back Kojic now and have no issues with that. But at that time, honey, that's just not something you came home saying, okay? So I put some little feelers out there, and I told my parents that I think I might be pregnant, even though the test clearly said that I was, just to see how they would respond. And it was, the typical reaction, and no fault to them. They responded how I guess they felt was right for them to respond, okay? They had their beliefs. And so I ended up making the decision to terminate the pregnancy. And what I went back to tell my parents was that it was a false alarm, that I really wasn't pregnant, though I was, and I terminated the pregnancy. Now, the abortion itself, of course, it wasn't the most painless thing in the world, but it wasn't horrible. It really wasn't. It had a lot of sedation, but nobody and nothing in this world could have prepared me for the mental anguish, the torment, the torture, the condemnation, the guilt, the you ain't nothing, you are a terrible person, you took a life, God is going to punish you for this forever. You are never going to be able to have children. Even if you want to in the future, you're not going to be able to because you're going to be punished. Nobody could prepare me for the amount of that I then started to put on myself. Yeah, it was self-imposed for years, y'all. Okay, so I was not even 20 when this happened, and I carried that thing with me heavy like a burden, probably into my early 30s when I finally decided to play into the art of forgiving. Okay, I had to forgive myself, which what I realized was something that I had never learned how to do. We're not taught that. When you think back to when you're young, you and one of your cousins get into a fight, your parents are going to bring you in there, or your grandma going to bring you in there. They're going to make you sit down. They're going to make you talk about it. They're going to make you to apologize to each other. They're going to make you hug each other. Same thing when you do something to a parent. You're going to have to say you're sorry to your parent. You're taught to apologize to God and to repent. You are never taught how to look at yourself and say, I'm sorry for what I did to you, and to forgive yourself for what you did to yourself, and hug yourself and say, it's all right and I still love you. Nobody teaches you that. And so what I came face to face with during all those years of self-imposed torture and torment was that I had grown up in church all of my life, y'all. And I knew all about the grace and mercy of God for other people. And but I had no idea what that looked like for me. Or did I even deserve it? Was I worthy of it? I had no idea. I was totally lost. And so I had to go on a journey of unlearning some things that I had learned, and then really learning who God was for myself. Okay, that's where this led me on. That was the journey that it took me on, right? But it took some time because I went through a serious depression after that, and carried around in my mind that I was going to have so much a lifetime of pain and punishment. Okay, especially as I started to get older, year after year passed, and I wasn't married, didn't have any kids. Okay. I still don't have children. Trust me, baby. Since then, I have gone to great lengths to make sure that I did not. Okay, it's a choice. There's nothing wrong with my body, but it is a choice. All right, that I don't have them right now. But it took so much time where I carried that around as though it was just never going to happen for me because it was some sort of punishment. Y'all, I want you to catch this from what I'm saying. This is what I want you to take from this video, okay? We go through so many things in life at the hands of other people, and we are quick to forgive other people. Meanwhile, we hold our own selves in hell. What do you do when you are the one who made a negative decision? When you're the one who made a poor choice? When you're the one who ended yourself in a sticky situation, all because of yourself and your choices? What do you do when you're the one who cheated and so you tore up your family? What do you do when you're the one who caused your own bankruptcy, who caused your own repossession, who caused your own foreclosure? What do you do when it's you, okay, that has caused the problem? When you get fired for something that you actually did, all right? How do you move forward beyond that? What I realized is that a lot of people have no idea how to do that. We have no idea how to forgive ourselves and let it go. And we are often taught about a big God who is angry, sitting on the throne, throwing stuff at you, pissed off at everything that you do, when the truth of the matter is, what I learned, honey, God done let that go long time ago. He is up the street, round the corner in your future saying, would you come on here because I got something else for you to do? You're not shocking me. I'm not surprised by anything that you've done. I'm over it. I wish that you would let it go as well, because you're holding yourself back because you won't let go of the thing from your past. Y'all, when you refuse to forgive yourself, you're in a prison. You're in a mental prison, boo. And here's the catch, though. You are the judge, you are the jury, you are the prosecuting attorney, and you're the guard with the key. It's you. You are the one. And if you don't get anything else out of this video, sugar, please get up and get out of there, okay? Stop wallowing over something that you've done in your past, because let me tell you this, your past is full of lessons for you. The mistakes that you've made, the decisions that you've made, is full of lessons for you. But also, y'all, your past is a roadmap for somebody else. Do you understand that?
It is step-by-step, turn-by-turn directions for somebody else to get out of darkness. But get this, they can't see the directions. They can't read the directions until you turn on the light. And turning on the light begins with you forgiving yourself. It's not a testimony. It's not a triumphant thing. It's not a I'm stronger and wiser and better thing until you forgive yourself and let it go. And baby, that's a whole word right there. That's a whole word right there. Now, you're probably wondering, what was the defining moment? What else did I take from that? How did I finally get to that place where I let myself out of that prison? And if you are wondering that, I'm glad you're wondering, because that means you're going to come back and watch the next video. Okay, there is a part 2 to this story. But I wanted to share that that's the first part. That's what I took from my experience with abortion. I learned the art of forgiving. And what I also learned is that for me, I didn't really truly start to understand the love of God until I screwed up. It's not about doing everything right all the time to have his love. It's not. I didn't understand love, period, until I was in a position where I desperately needed it. And that happened as a result of a very, 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 very hard decision, but something that at the time I was just living in regret over it. I just really was. I was trapped in regret. I'm not now. There's no condemnation now, honey. Baby, I am so healed from that thing. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that and whether I'm pro-life or pro-choice. We're going to talk about that in the next video. I want to give you something to come back for. But anyway, abortion part 1, the art of forgiving. Whether you identify with having an abortion or with something else, whatever it is, I hope you take this as your sign to go back and forgive yourself so that you can start the healing process, okay, on the inside of you, because your story is for somebody else. And you're not going to be able to tell it victoriously and triumphantly and confidently. You're not going to be able to tell it as long as you are holding yourself prisoner and beating yourself up over the fact that it happened. Let it go, boo. That's your whole word for today. I'm going to see y'all again tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. I think we're going some healing going to take place on the other side of this. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Y'all have a good one.